And there is still a hard, fast rule against cameras in federal court as well, where this case is proceeding. Frankly, I find that to be unconstitutional and patently absurd. Why should anything in a public courthouse, outside of certain trade secrets or identity of sexual abuse victims, ever be shielded in mystery?
Like I said before, I'm a retired colonel, went to war to fight for rights, and too many people fought long and hard for us to have rights, and I'm not going to disappoint them. I'm going all the way to the top.
The purpose of this presentation is to update you on our case with VA and then also highlight the importance of ADA advocacy.
All I could do is laugh and support my husband as best as I can because he's suffering or he's recovering from a stroke.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we address the issues in this blockbuster civil rights case against the embattled Veterans Administration, you need to know that ADA advocates are supposed to be respected and honored in courtrooms. They help injured and traumatized litigants to have genuine access to our legal system, and this access is integral to the mission. Video is a component of this as well, because in multi-day trials, the person receiving the assistance can more readily access the information. This puts the parties on equal and fair footing, and this type of access is something that I have fought for since 1997.
I've tried a lot of cases in my life, Mr. King. I've never had the advantage of having a videotape to take home and review after the day of trial.
Well, that's unfortunate, Your Honor, but I do have that. It's a modern era. You know, and beyond all
I
that,
don't like my ruling, you can take it up to the Court of Appeals, but that's my ruling.
so, Your Honor, lastly, I will state that the First Amendment is not something that you can have it in theory, you can enjoy it tomorrow. No, you enjoy it right now. That's why it's there. Unless you're going to do something unlawful with it. We have nothing that indicates that this man is going to do something unlawful with it.
Sadly, there are many judges like Washington's Stan Rumbaugh and corporate insurance attorneys like Leslie Fleming for Zurich who fight fairness and openness. So we have this.
Sir, what's with the camera?
I'm news media.
Remove the camera from the courtroom. Right now.
Okay.
I'm already suing him over refusing the right to video in his court, all right? So, and we're not even in his court. We're in a public hallway. Yeah, we're in a public hallway.
And there is still a hard, fast rule against cameras in federal court as well, where this case is proceeding. Frankly, I find that to be unconstitutional and patently absurd. Why should anything in a public courthouse, outside of certain trade secrets or identity of sexual abuse victims, ever be shielded in mystery? With such in mind, stay tuned for this and subsequent installments on this matter, addressing privacy violations, racketeering, civil rights, administrative practices, and more.
Again, as far as this is concerned, as far as the lack of accommodation that was made based on the ADA, because you're representing somebody who has post-traumatic stress disorder and a number of things after watching her mother be gravely injured. And I know Dr. Karen Huffer is involved with this kind of thing where you get people certified and you're allowed to represent people under the ADA.
Right.
And you said you've been working with Dr. Briggs?
Yeah, Dr. Briggs, who wrote the 1990 American Disability Act and helped pass it with President Bush, is following this case, along with Larry Hughes, who was President Obama's advocate for the Wounded Warrior Games and the Olympics.
Hi, it's me again, and I'm teaming up with Chris King. He'll tell you a little bit more about himself. A little bit about myself. I'm a retired lieutenant colonel, war veteran, and ADA advocate for too many wounded warriors and veterans and people with disabilities to count, to include my husband, Robert Bosgaz, and Jackie Smith's children, and thank God they got Keith. What's in the dark comes to light. Now, I want to focus on what we've been doing as of date regarding the EEO complaint at VA. We went through the whole entire year of administrative trickery. I'm telling you, if you're in VA and you're going through the ORM process, I'm going to show you how headquarters went in and violated our privacy. Firsthand, you're going to see it here, and I'm going to take you step by step. There are several videos that you can look up later. However, we went through the whole EEOC process, or the ORM process, for those that fall under VA. It took over a year, and we can tell you honestly that we have met mishap at every corner of the ORM process, and it is corrupt. If you're going through the ORM process, I would highly recommend that you stop and take note of what's going on and what's really happening. Okay, so we're at 180 days of the ORM EO process, and we can request a hearing. We can take everything out of ORM VA's hands and request a hearing from an EEOC judge. That's what we do. When we request the hearing, the ORM VA, the investigators are supposed to get all their information that they have and send it to the EEOC judge. And what happens? Everybody ignores it. Everybody ignores our request. And we finally, after a week, we ask the judge, or we ask EEOC, if we can have a judge assigned and also an EEOC number. And the judge comes online, ex parte, meaning you're not supposed to talk to me, judge, or anybody else, because you can't do ex parte meetings. And she comes and she sends me an email and she says, go to the agency. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, not again. And so red flags go up, and we're trying to get the status of our EEOC number. And finally, Gail Leary from the post office says, hey, we're not done. We need more time. I said, no, not going there.
Bottom line up front, after the 28th of August, we're supposed to receive an EEOC hearing number, but they're wasting time in their favor. So what we received from Dr. Klein, the impartial investigator, right, sends us affidavits that are perjured with lies. So the question you ask is, what the hell are we supposed to do with these things? Nobody's listening to you because it's an inside job. ORM, VA, investigators, third parties are all in it together. All I could do is laugh and support my husband as best as I can because he's suffering, or he's recovering from a stroke. Now keep in mind, although I have PTSD and my PTSD has been triggered constantly, I have to stay strong for my husband who's recovering. I use my background. I was General Honorees Quick Reactionary Force Commander, and I also work with IG, Control Rep. I did contact General Honore, and he said call 911 or don't get stuck on stupid, and stupid I am not. I look at all of these issues, and I remind these guys of the issues.
Well, number one, the affidavits are only answered by the perpetrators, the VA leaders, not any of Robert's witnesses. That is an issue. Number three, HR supervisor Karen Agee decides she's not going to participate. How can you not participate in a government investigation? Number four, Dr. Rasha, the doctor that falsified Robert's medical records, also decides that she's not going to participate. And number six, when you look at the signed affidavits by these perpetrators, they all lied. So they perjured themselves. And when you perjure yourself on affidavits, signed affidavits, that means you're going to prison for 5 years.